What is the easiest bucket in basketball? Is it the layup? Maybe. Is it the free throw? Could be. But I would argue that it is the floater. What's up guys, welcome back to another video, and yes, you heard me right. I would argue that the floater is the easiest shot in basketball. Now hear me out. I get that a layup or a dunk is obviously the easiest way to score if you're open. But what about in an in-game scenario? It's not that easy to get off a layup when you have a defender guarding you and then a taller defender waiting in the paint to swat your layup to the 10th row.
Was really moving last game.
And a free throw is pretty easy, I'll admit, but they're only worth 1 point each, and you have to draw a foul first. And if you're playing a pickup game, there's no free throws anyway. But now let me tell you about the floater. The floater is one of the most convenient moves in basketball because as long as you're within mid to close range, whether you're open or against a defender, it allows you to put a shot up within a split second. You go from looking like you could do a number of different moves, anywhere from a layup to a jump shot to a pass to a reset, and then in a split second, you got a bucket out of nowhere. You didn't have to take your time and go into your technical shooting form, and you also didn't have to work your way super close to the rim in order to attempt a layup. So it's faster than a jump shot because you don't have to be balanced or go into your form or anything, and it's more convenient than a layup because you don't have to be right next to the basket like you would for a layup. You just have to be within mid to close range. And it looks super easy. You just kind of float the ball in on your way to the rim. You know, a jump shot has so many mechanics you can mess up on. It can feel uncomfortable or unnatural. But the floater is just straight up put the ball in the hole. Now, one of my inspirations for this video was Tyrese Maxey. He's a rookie from Kentucky who got drafted by the 76ers. Maxey was one of my inspirations for this video because the 76ers recently had a game against the Nuggets where a lot of their players were sidelined because of a certain virus that I can't say or I get demonetized, but I'm sure you know what it is. So Maxey got to be a starter for that game and he scored a career high 39 points, the most in a rookie's first start since 1970. And he got a lot of those points off of, guess what? Floaters. So the floater is a great move that anyone can use to score. It's not super technical. You don't have to have a good jump shot. You don't have to be a great finisher. You don't have to be a crazy ball handler. You just got to be able to put the ball in the hole. Pause. Resume. But for anybody who's actually played basketball and attempted a floater, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't think there's a lot of lacrosse players watching this video, you know that a floater isn't as easy as it seems. How many times have you attempted a floater that in your head you're like, it's for sure going in, the rim is right there, I'm just gonna float it up, and then it hits the back rim and bounces out? But that was just bad luck. That was karma for you throwing your batteries away in the trash can instead of where you're supposed to throw batteries away. So you try again a couple plays later and you try to shoot it just a little bit shorter this time so that it goes in instead of hitting the back rim, and it hits the front rim and bounces out. You were so close again, but that's 0 points. You have now gotten 0 points off of your 2 close floaters. Now, what if I was to tell you that you could drastically increase how many of your floaters go in instead of just get close? Would you believe me? I don't care. Here's what you do. Turn your floater into a floater shot hybrid. Now, you might be thinking, what, the fuck does that mean? Let me explain. When most people attempt a floater, they just kind of open palm float the ball up with no release. This is how you'll see most NBA players do it, and most players in general, because it's the fastest way to get your shot off. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, every NBA player does it, and most players do it. But I believe that adding like 40 to 60% of your shot release to the floater and guiding it a bit with your offhand will help you make a lot more floaters. But it will be a little bit slower than a floater with an open palm release. But as long as you have even a little bit of space between you and a defender, it's not going to be a problem. It'll add a lot more backspin to the ball, so if it hits the rim, it still has a good chance of going in. And once you get used to it, it'll make your floaters more consistent and give you a lot better control of your floater. Now, when I say use a floater shot hybrid, I'm not talking about doing a runner, where you run up and kind of just do your exact jump shot off of one leg and hold your release and all that. I'm talking about doing the exact same motion as your normal floater, but just adding a release on the ball and guiding it a bit with your offhand. I call it a floater shot hybrid because it incorporates the precision aspects of a jump shot like a release and the guidance of your offhand with the ease and convenience of a floater. But it is not a jump shot. I don't need you to hold your release. I don't need you to try and keep your elbow straight. Literally just add your release to the floater and guide it a bit with your offhand. Now, obviously, in an in-game situation, you might need to use your offhand to keep your defender away, so you can't always use it on your floater. But just understand that guiding the floater a little bit with your offhand is going to give you some better control and increase the likelihood of you making it. Also, make it smooth. Don't pause at the top of your floater. Don't try to force anything. It should feel smooth, natural, and not forced. Think Steph Curry shooting form, but as a floater. Also, use your forward momentum to your advantage. Some people, when they're about to put up a floater, will stop or drastically slow down their momentum as they're about to put it up. And sometimes, depending on the situation, you kind of have to. But if you can keep going with your forward momentum, it's a hard word to say, and put up the floater, it'll make the floater even easier because it'll feel more natural since you're not forcing your momentum to change. And you'll be moving closer to the rim because of your forward momentum. It'll keep you moving closer to the rim, so it'll make the floater even easier. Now again, you can't always do this in an in-game situation. Just look at this floater by Tyrese Maxey. He tried to keep moving with his momentum, but he couldn't. So it is what it is, which is why it's important to practice so you can adapt to these situations better when you're in a game. I'm gonna say this every video, but you have to practice these moves and tips before you use them in a game so that you can understand how it's supposed to feel and adjust it to your playstyle, and so that you can get the movement ingrained into muscle memory so that you can be more consistent with it. Make sure you practice both 1 foot and 2 foot floaters, because 2 foot floaters can come in handy in situations where you really have to put the ball up quick, and it doesn't feel as natural as a 1 foot floater, so it helps to practice it. You can also try practicing putting floaters up with both your right and left hand. I personally don't, I'm gonna be honest, but it would help me if I did, because then I'd really be able to just quickly put a floater up at any time. And if you really just need to get the points quick and dirty, use the backboard. It's gonna be annoying, it's not gonna look cool, and I hate you, but you'll get the points. Hitting a floater off the backboard, especially when you're straight in front of the rim, is one of the easiest ways to score. And if you're playing on a backboard that absorbs a lot of shock like the one I'm playing on here, then it's cheating. You honestly don't even need to use the floater shot hybrid if you hit it off the backboard, because you don't need that much precision in it, but I still think it would help. So to recap, you want to turn your floater into a floater shot hybrid, which involves using about 40 to 60% of your shot release and guiding the floater a bit with your offhand while keeping it all smooth and natural, not forced. You also want to use your forward momentum to your advantage and practice floaters off of 1 foot and 2 feet. And if you must, use the backboard for some quick and easy points. Anyway, that's the video. Comment down below what you want me to do next, and if you see a comment with a video idea you want me to do, like that comment so that I can see it. Anyway, that's it. See you guys in the next video.
For Pete's sake, I'm above average, I'm padding my stats. I gotta matter what he say. I'm the 2010 young LeBron James off the backboard, type of bad boy. Hold it down for the task force. If I run his fade, then you ask for it. Niggas cross need to laugh more. I keep it 100 on dashboard. The live show needed passport, cause the beat bounced to the cap torn. Feel like I live it, fast forward, but I asked for it. Misfit, got a quick lit on a crash course from the tattered garment to the